Medieval Indian history was far more than battles and kings. It was a time of booming trade, epic architecture, and spiritual revolutions. From the rise of the Cholas to the grandeur of the Mughals, this 1,000-year journey reshaped India in ways still felt today. Let's uncover the dynasties, ideas, and legacies that define this extraordinary era. Medieval Indian history is one of the most fascinating periods in the subcontinent. From the 8th to the 18th century, this era witnessed the rise and fall of powerful dynasties, sweeping cultural shifts, and the emergence of new religious and political ideas that transformed India forever. This period is usually divided into two parts: the early medieval period, from around the 8th to the 13th century, and the late medieval period, which lasted from the 13th century until the early modern era in the 18th century. The distinction helps highlight the transition from primarily regional kingdoms to the more centralized Islamic empires, and eventually the advent of European colonial powers. In the early medieval period, the Indian subcontinent saw the disintegration of major ancient empires like the Guptas. Their fall created a power vacuum, leading to the emergence of several regional kingdoms. These kingdoms often competed for dominance, but contributed richly to India's cultural and political landscape. In northern India, the dominant players were the Gurjara Pratiharas, the Palas of Bengal, and the Rashtrakutas of the Deccan. Their constant rivalry, especially over the control of Kannauj, became known as the tripartite struggle. Despite military conflicts, this period also saw the patronage of art, literature, and architecture. Southern India experienced the rise of powerful dynasties such as the Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas. The Cholas stood out for their military conquests and maritime trade, extending influence to Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia. Under rulers like Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra Chola, they developed advanced administrative systems. They promoted temple building, leaving behind monumental structures like the Brihadiswara Temple. The Rashtrakutas maintained a stronghold over the Deccan Plateau in central and western India. Their contributions to architecture, particularly the rock-cut temples at Ellora, showcased a unique blend of Hindu, Jain, and Buddhist elements, reflecting religious tolerance and artistic innovation. By the early 13th century, a significant shift occurred in Indian politics with the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate. This began large-scale Islamic rule in northern India, introducing new administrative practices, architectural styles, and cultural elements from Central Asia and Persia. The Delhi Sultanate was ruled by a succession of 5 dynasties: the Mamluks, Khiljis, Tughlaqs, Sayyids, and Lodis. Each brought its own flavor of governance, expansionism, and challenges. Qutb-ud-Din Aibak, a former slave of Muhammad Ghori, founded the Mamluk dynasty and began the tradition of Turkish rule in Delhi. The Khilji dynasty, under rulers like Alauddin Khilji, extended the Sultanate's reach deep into the south and implemented strong market reforms and revenue systems. The Tughlaqs attempted ambitious reforms and territorial expansions, but often faced rebellions and instability. One of the most notable Tughlaq rulers, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, is remembered for his failed experiments, including shifting the capital from Delhi to Daulatabad. The Sayyid and Lodi dynasties struggled to maintain power amid internal strife and growing discontent. Eventually, the last Lodi ruler, Ibrahim Lodi, was defeated in 1526 by Babur, marking the end of the Delhi Sultanate and the beginning of the Mughal Empire. The Mughals brought a new era of centralized rule and cultural brilliance. Founded by Babur, the empire rose rapidly under his successors, especially Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and Aurangzeb. Akbar, one of the greatest rulers in Indian history, expanded the empire through diplomacy and military conquests. He is remembered for his religious tolerance, abolition of the jizya tax, and the introduction of a new syncretic faith, Din-e-Ilahi. His administrative reforms and the Mansabdari system created a robust bureaucratic framework. Jahangir continued his father's policies and promoted art and culture. His reign saw the flourishing of Mughal painting and courtly sophistication. Shah Jahan, his son, is best known for architectural masterpieces, including the Taj Mahal, Red Fort, and Jama Masjid. Aurangzeb, the last of the mighty Mughal emperors, expanded the empire to its greatest territorial extent, but reversed many of the liberal policies of his predecessors. His strict orthodoxy and continuous military campaigns drained the empire's resources, leading to internal revolts and fragmentation. While the Mughals dominated northern India, the southern regions experienced their own golden age under the Vijayanagara Empire. Founded in 1336, this Hindu kingdom was created in response to the threat of Islamic invasions. Its rulers supported temple building, Sanskrit and Telugu literature, and classical dance and music. The capital city, Hampi, became a thriving urban center filled with temples, markets, and palaces. The empire remained a significant power until the mid-17th century, when it fell to a coalition of Deccan sultanates at the Battle of Talikota. The Deccan region also saw the rise of independent Muslim states, like the Bahmani Sultanate, which later split into the 5 Deccan sultanates: Bijapur, Golconda, Ahmadnagar, Berar, and Bidar. These states competed with one another and with Vijayanagara, but also contributed to a unique Deccan cultural style, blending Persian, Turkish, and South Indian elements. Monuments like Gol Gumbaz and the Charminar are legacies of this era. Beyond politics and war, medieval Indian history was deeply enriched by religious, philosophical, artistic, and scientific movements. The Bhakti movement emerged as a powerful force across India, emphasizing devotion to a personal god over ritualistic practices and social hierarchy. Saints like Kabir, Mirabai, Tulsidas, and Surdas challenged caste-based discrimination. They preached love and equality through poetry and song. Simultaneously, Sufism spread through the efforts of Islamic mystics, who focused on spiritual connection and compassion. Sufi saints like Nizamuddin Auliya and Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti attracted large followings and helped bridge religious divides. In terms of scientific and intellectual achievements, the period saw notable advancements in astronomy, medicine, mathematics, and linguistics. Texts like the Ain-e-Akbari provide detailed insights into Mughal administration, economy, agriculture, and society. Medieval Indian architecture evolved dramatically during this period, from the grand temples of the Cholas to the intricate carvings of Khajuraho, and from the domes and arches of Delhi Sultanate mosques to the majestic Mughal structures. The fusion of architectural styles defined the subcontinent's visual identity. Art also flourished. The Mughal school of miniature painting blended Persian techniques with Indian themes. Regional art traditions like Rajput and Deccan paintings developed their own distinct aesthetics, often rooted in local myths and rituals. The economy of medieval India was largely agrarian, but supported by a vibrant trade network. Ports on both coasts connected India to global trade routes, facilitating the exchange of spices, textiles, gems, and ideas with regions like Arabia, Africa, and Southeast Asia. Society was complex and hierarchical, but not static. The spread of new religious ideas, urbanization, and economic change slowly altered the traditional social structures. Women played significant roles in royal households, spiritual movements, and sometimes even governance. However, they remained constrained mainly by patriarchal norms. By the 18th century, the Mughal Empire had weakened due to succession crises, rebellion, and European interference. Regional powers like the Marathas, Sikhs, and Nawabs of Bengal began asserting independence. At the same time, European trading companies, especially the British East India Company, started gaining political influence. Thus, the medieval period in Indian history gradually gave way to the colonial era. But its legacy endured. The medieval age left behind a lasting impact on Indian culture, society, language, and governance. Today, many of India's most iconic structures, religious movements, languages, and culinary traditions can trace their roots back to this dynamic period. It was a time of conflict and collaboration, marked by towering art, architecture, administration, and philosophy achievements. Medieval Indian history is not just a tale of empires and invasions, but a vibrant mosaic of ideas, innovations, and enduring heritage. If you enjoyed this journey through the past, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss future videos on India's rich and complex history. Drop a comment below with your favorite medieval ruler or monument. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching.